Member moment from current slide. Okay, my first spiel was thank you, Bill, for the great member moment because I thought you were going to be doing that tonight. So let's just go ahead. We all know what a member moment is, and that it's our little short program, 5 minutes before the regular program, so we can move right along. And a member moment now. A 5 minutes long presentation of images that a member has created of their recent or favorite work. Let me get a sip of water.
That's really pretty.
And basically, our the 5 minutes we understand there, and at this point, it's something that you've created recently, or something that's favorite, something you really enjoy doing, maybe travel trip. So let's move to the next slide. And finding your subject. Now, I put a list: travel, floral, wildlife, still life, landscape, macro, portrait, abstract, food, astro, street. There's so many things that maybe we as photographers find that we gravitate to and like those pick to take that same style or type of pictures over and over again. And those would be good for our as a subject to find for our member moment. Okay. And then now searching for photos. Now, what we just talked about a minute ago was on the folders. Uh, Naming your folders with an easy to find description will speed up your workflow. And so I use that, for example, would be 2025 to 28. I took the pictures in Clear Lake and they're mostly wildflowers. And then I took a photo that I add some photos that try to, just an example of what we're doing there. Um, if I put create a folder with the name of your project, okay. If you do not use Lightroom Classic, or Bridge, then you would want to copy and paste selected images to your project folder. Um, And then for users of Lightroom Classic, Bridge, or other photo programs, I recommend using collections or albums. Okay. The one thing I wanted to suggest is if you copy and paste, uh, reason why I say that rather than drag it over to another folder is most of us would like to keep our original photos in the same folder.
Mhm.
And if you drag and drop, maybe it might be permanently moved, and it's best not to do that. It's best to work on copies and all in the same folder. Uh, and then we'll go ahead and move on and select and organize your photos. Okay, first I wanted to go through what a collection is. I think most of us have that, but I'll go through the program anyway. Um, Alternate tab, and I'm going to go over here to Lightroom. Okay, on our screen in Lightroom, our home screen, and we're in the library module. Of course, I have all my folders, and I've got the date and a short description of all of them. Um, One thing you can do too is if you do have a short one, um, at the very top, if you highlight the parent folder, which I can do, and if I do that parent folder, and if I decide I want, well, flowers, say for example, or desert, I can go to text, but see at the top, we can search for different items by using this little, can you see my cursor there, I hope?
Mhm.
And then it says metadata attribute or text. Now I use attribute a lot if I only wanted uh, like 2 star. I could go like this. If I want 1 star, then 1 star images or more start coming up. And you can do the same thing with colors if you use colors to designate certain groups of slides. But in this case, we're going to go to, let's see here, we want to go to text. And if I put in there on this little box on the right, flowers, immediately it'll start loading all types,
Billion
all the
flowers you
flower
have.
pictures that I have, yeah, in my whole uh, Gary's Photos book, which is 80,000. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy, but it shows you what you can do if you're looking for something like, say, San Francisco or a place or a certain subject, a coast or a place on the coast or a county, anything like that. So, okay, let's go ahead and move out of that and put none, and then I'll go back down to my folder that I had, and then we were going to talk about collections. Okay, and collections, what is a collection? A collection is a group of slides or a group of photos from multiple folders. Okay, and so let's go. And what we can do with collections while I'm here, I think I'm jumping ahead of myself, but we have you basically will come up to where the little plus is, and say, for example, I selected one, I could do a plus and put create a collection, and then you name your collection and you have options. And then on this one, I have include selected photos. And so this would be the one if I wanted the 2 kids fishing. Okay, so let's cancel that. Um, Another important one is in Lightroom Classic. Now, a lot of you use Classic. Is if you'll see where my cursor is on the left, and I'm circling a little tiny thing in that column. It's like a little thing that would go on some kind of a Spanish word,
Mhm.
And but what that designates is I have edit to 42 photos, and you notice check down here is sync with Lightroom. Once I have that, so anything that I add to that, oops, oh, stop, cancel. Um, if I were to excuse me, I got lost there. And edit to, okay, anything now that of these folders, in this folder, all of these are also available in my phone. And they're also available in Marnie's phone because we're on the same account. So anywhere my iPhone account is, I can get these photos because I've designated to sync with Lightroom. Okay, to go on with collections, that was just something that's maybe some people aren't aware of. What I've got here, as you notice here, I've got aquarium slideshow and SRPS aquarium slideshow. Now, what I've done is drag some of the things from a recent trip to Monterey that Marnie and I took for our anniversary, and I made a short one there just to show you how we can make a slideshow, and we'll get back to that. Now, the important thing on this is there's a little plus right there. So if we were to add to that uh, collection, we would normally be up into say, well, here's one that says mushrooms, and I've got this one here, and I would take that one and I'd highlight it, select it, and then I'd go down here and I would right click, and then I'd come down here and just add selected photo to this collection. And so that's if you're doing without with 40 or 50 slides, it's kind of takes a while to do, and that's a lot of work. But if we have the little plus on there, that notice that this says set as target collection. Only one folder in your collections can be your target collection. But it's just so handy when you have, like most of us, have so many Here's Sandhill Cranes.
Hmm.
Okay, and so you got all these and you're going through these and you say, okay, here, uh, you're going through and oh man, I've got so many, I don't know. But here's so maybe I decide to keep this one and I highlight and I select it. I can right click and then I go down and there's a column when you right click and it says add to target collection. Now, if I were to add that and say add to target collection, and I come down here, it's automatically added to that. Now I have 6 photos. Notice here that it has that's the one SRPS Aquarium Slideshow has a little plus that designates that. Okay, so if we go back in here, then there, sure enough. Now there's something you to know is when you're in a collection, and this is in Lightroom Classic only, as far as I know. If you make a change, for example, if I come over here and decide, oh, I haven't done anything with that. I'm going to do auto just to see what it would look like without me fixing or doing anything in there. Now, if I were to go back up to that folder, the original folder, and look at that image, that change would be done to the image there.
Wow.
It basically, this in collections is merely a link to your original folder. So anything that you do here with your crop it or make any adjustments at all are going to be reflected in that original image. Okay, so let's get rid of here. So how we get rid of that one? We come down here, remove from target collection. Notice a change, so I'll click on that and it's gone. Okay, so enough of that. We will go back. And so here, that's what is the collection? And pretty much gone through there. Okay, it does not create new photos on your hard drive when you do a collection. Just changes here also made the original Lightroom Classic. Okay. Now, what I've done here is in Lightroom Classic, I like to say use collections. I have it exactly how it is. If you forget, then you can come back and look at this and you'll know from my, you go from library module to collections and then hit plus and you add, to add images. I just showed you how to do that. And or create target collection. And I really prefer target collections. You might figure that I had like 80 slides for the photos that go along with the presentation. And, I wanted to whittle that way down, or I didn't need a lot of those. So that's what's great about the collections. And of course, now in Bridge, there's only, we can do collections there. It's on lower left of screen. It's a lower left corner. And then you'll see selections and a plus to name it. Now with Bridge, it's a little different. Maybe what I can do is show you really quick. It's easier that way. Let's cruise down here. Okay, here we are in Bridge. Um, Down here at the lower left, you'll see Member Moment. That's what we've got up right here. I made a little collection, but there, in order to add photos, you drag and drop them over into this. So this one here, if I take it over, bring it in, it'll add that to collection. Well, it's already in that collection, so it won't change any. But that's the method of adding to your collection if you're over and you want to work in Photoshop and you don't want to work with Lightroom Classic or Lightroom. Let's see, let's get back to my, okay. Oops. Somehow I got some messed up here. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's okay. So that's basically in Bridge and Lightroom and Lightroom Mobile. We go to something called albums. Now, if you're using other programs, most of them seem to use something called albums, and the albums are all the same as collections. The thing to watch there is to make sure that if you're using a program that I haven't mentioned, is to make sure that you're not actually moving from your original folder to the album, so you don't want to move that picture, but you want a nice copy that you can work on. Then in albums, you can uh, uh, go ahead and work on those. And then we can add photos to each collection or album from multiple folders. So that's really good. So you can go through different dates, different years, and you can add the photos that that you want in your collection. Okay. 5, organize photos, remove photos that are not needed. That's what I just did there. You can go through them, and like I showed there, where you right click and remove. I believe in Bridge, you may have to go up to the top to like view and then remove them from your collection that way. Um, I suggest too that if you when you have a collection like that, they're in your original format. So, a lot of this, almost everything's 24 megapixel or 45 megapixels, and so those are pretty big files. And if you're just making a slideshow to share, I suggest using the 1920 by 1200 JPEG. And if that sounds familiar, that's what we all add to uh, our yeah to our club when we want to show them. And competitions and so forth. So that's an easy one to remember on that. And by putting them in a separate folder, naming it, it'll save a lot of confusion and it'll be a lot less storage taken up and it'll run faster. Organizing photos. Okay, in Lightroom Classic, I ran through these on you do view, sort, and then custom order. So I would go up to the top and select view, and you go down to sort, take custom order. Then you can rearrange uh, your photos and your slides uh, to your satisfaction, so you can have more impact, or maybe you want in chronological order, something like that. Okay. Um, but in Lightroom, you go to sort the capture date uh, at the top, and then at the bottom of the screen you go to custom, and so that's what's a little confusing is that each one will do it a little bit different on your sorting and bridge sort on your upper right, and then tap manually. And then and of course, the order chosen will determine the order that your slides will be shown. Order for maximum impact. And that's basically my opinion there. Okay, and what I suggest is choose a couple of very good images to start, then tell your story and end your show with the very best. Okay. Or as Scott Kelby says, show only your best images. Um, in this case, what I like to do on our member moment slideshows is to do that, show a very good one, and then kind of tell your story. And I always like to maybe show a field and then the individual cluster of flowers, say, and then the individual flowers or whatever it takes for you to tell your story, like the whole flock of birds and a few, and then one, that type of thing, or use your own imagination, but a nice way to tell your story. And then the last couple slides, you to do your very, very best. And that way you don't lose your person, you don't lose your viewer. You want to have enough impact at the beginning to get them interested. You want to have a nice storyline that you can keep them engaged in your work. And of course, at the end, you want to end up with your very best to really the wow ones. If you have wow photos, that's where to put them. Okay. And the create presentations. Um, Now, most of us have used PowerPoint, and it's used in Windows, and it's good for text with photos. Keynote, if you're a Mac user, that's a free to you, or like on your iPhone or iPad, you can actually use Keynote. I've found that on my iPad. And then you do that, it comes through your iCloud account is free. So a part of your iOS operating system and your Apple phones, you'll find that available to you. And it works really the same if you're not familiar with it as what PowerPoint does. Um, PowerPoint, if I go over, you can see on here, you've got home, insert, design, transitions, animations, record review, view. And, there's quite a few things you can do. You can actually make a custom slideshows. And you can see the order of my slides that I'm presenting on the left. And it's a really nice way to do it. If you're not familiar with it, or if you've forgotten kind of how to use it, you do search how to use uh, Keynote, or this program, and there are just oodles of different videos through YouTube and written things like that. When I first did it, there was a half hour or 20-minute uh, YouTube, and it got me going really fine. And it's self-explanatory. So that's what we're okay. So let me go back down. We were here, here, and custom slide. No, 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 no. Current state. I'm sorry. Okay, there we are into our PowerPoint. And then of course, in Bridge now it's a little different. It doesn't have any bells or whistles, but you can go in and um, sort your slides, and after you sort them in the order, then you can go up to View at the very top, and then go to slideshow options. And there's two there. One just says slideshow, one says slideshow options. The first time you do that, you want to go to options because it'll say how long the slide will play and how long the transition can be, which is important to bring up. For a member moment, we're talking 5 minutes. And so uh, if we have 6 seconds for a slide, and that seems to be what the auto program seems to do, and it's comfortable viewing. It's not too fast, not too long, and a 2 second transition. But in slideshow options, you can set that um, and play it. And then if you figure a slideshow is going to be 5 minutes, and you do 6 seconds a slide, that means you shows 10 slides in a minute. And I recommend you don't go to the full 5 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. And so that would be 40 slides. So that kind of gives you an idea of how long to make each slide. And of course, you can review those, and if you want to lengthen a little bit, you can. I'm going to short it down, but that seems to be a nice pace that you can look at a photograph and have enough time to enjoy it and look at it, and then move on to the next one, right? And now we're going to let's see. We have Lightroom, which nobody is using Lightroom that's tonight, but maybe someone who views it later would. And it's similar. You go, and this is not Lightroom Classic. This is Lightroom and Lightroom Mobile. You go up to View and you start Slideshow. And what you can do there is because your Lightroom uh, doesn't use collections. So you'll be able to go down and go to your album. Yeah, the Lightroom uses albums, And so you add to your album there, and then you can go to Lightroom, go to View, I'm sorry, and start slideshow. Okay, Lightroom Classics. Let's, on Lightroom Classic, a window, there's impromptu slideshow, or there's the slideshow module. And near the top of the screen gives full control of a slideshow and includes adding music. I was asked specific about it. How do you add music? So here we go. And there we go. Okay, now this probably looks familiar. We're here a minute ago, but this is how I did the aquarium slideshow. Now notice down here, I named it slideshow. I've got them in the order that I like. Okay, now I did mention ordering and sorting, but if you're using Lightroom Classic in the slideshow mode, which is the upper right here, um, that you can organize them in the actual slideshow module of Lightroom Classic. Okay, so what we're going to do is open, now that that's selected, or you could use any folder that you have them in, and we go to slideshow. Oops, for some reason it's taking its time. Okay, and this is what the module looks like in slideshow. We can start with this first guy here. He looks kind of cute, doesn't he, cruising around? I love this shot because that's actually what our ocean looks like if you were go out 20 feet on a nice clear day and go snorkeling. That's what it would look like.
Hmm.
You know? Yeah, and it's pretty. That's I love that one part of the aquarium. Anyway, we're back over here. We have the SRPS slides, and then as a new user. Notice this just shows collections here that, and that's I brought in the, to start, you want to use a template. What we'd use is, and as you can see, it has caption, rating, crop to fill, EXIF, and you can see what the picture looks like. And then there's simple, and then there's widescreen. You could select one of these and you'll already have a template done. Now you notice on mine, I have one called mushrooms and one called wildflower. Those two were from previous member moment presentations. But what I did is I made my template. I chose which one I wanted. And then I made changes over here on the right and then saved that template. Okay. And that's where I have, so I can use the same template as I used in Wildflowers or that without having to redo uh, uh, or the whole template. Now over on the right, you'll see that there's a number of options here. Now with that standard template that I had, the has stroke border, Kansas shadow, show guides. You can see that. Then there's identity plate. And when it checked is when it does it. And of course, I don't want watermarking. I don't want ratings on there. I don't want text overlays on them. If I did now, text overlays might be good if you wanted to name uh, each into ones, like say a bird from the name of a bird or something like that. Now you can also do a color wash. I'm not sure what that is. Background image. I don't want to do that, so neither one of those is checked. Background color, you notice it's checked, and black is my border. So I've gone with that. Now we can add an identity plate, the intro screen. Now this is clicked, both these have check marks. On the right-hand side, you'll see an aqua color, and then you'll see here this member, Monterey Bay Aquarium. That's the name of my slide, and my writing's in black. Okay, so that's your intro plate, which we'll show you in a second. And then we have an ending screen. And because I have music on this one, um, I have a disclaimer. That's one thing with music is you want to get royalty-free music. Now, you might wonder, okay, well, where do I get music? Okay, under the next little box down says music, and there's a plus mark a plus mark there. Okay, you might notice on the right there's two little boxes. Right now I have it on, so if I hit the box, it would turn off audio. I hit the box on the top, it turns it on again. Okay. The duration so is 4.4 for this one named music that I have accompanying it. I hit the little plus, comes up, and I've got, and of course, I'm using Windows. And so here it automatically came up music, and I have Arrowhead or this inspiring that's on there. Um, let's see, I don't want to choose anything. We'll cancel that. Okay, so that's how you go about choosing music. Now, how do you get music in that music folder? Now, what you can simply do is go to your favorite search engine, whether it's Google or whatever, uh, and just go in there, free music. Make sure to put free on there. And then you can there's just tons of stuff available out there. And what you want to do is look for royalty-free music. And that way you don't have to worry about uh, using music that uh, that isn't, royalty free. Excuse me, the makers of the music. It's obvious they're really uh, cautious about who uses their music, and they want credit for it, whether they get paid or, like in this case, a note giving them credit for that photo. So a little long on that, but that's an important note. Okay. And then, of course, as we go down, we have our slideshow, and I have pan and zoom. Okay. And there's a sync. Now, this is an important one here, too. If you have a longer slideshow, say you have 40 or 50 slides, um, this says sync slides to music. Okay. And then there's over here on the right, there's one fit to music. Okay. If you do um, sync slides to music, then what it'll do is if it'll change it depending on the tone of your music. And I tried to do that and I didn't really understand it. Something for you to play around if that would be of interest. Uh, but by fit to music, that would make it so that the length of the whole program would be um, uh, based on how long that one piece of music is, which is 4 minutes and 4 seconds when you go up and look at music. And so that's a good one to do for a longer slideshow. Now, I'm just going to escape when I get to the end, but we don't, well, let's see, let me undo that because I don't want to fit that to music. Oh, I see, I had a choice between doing that or not doing that. Okay. So that's what that's all about, and that's important with your music. And then when it comes up, it uh, should be the way you want that. Okay, so and you want to make sure it's right. So here in the lower right, you can do preview or play. I'll hit preview, and it'll take some moment for it to prepare. And you should be hearing the music.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. Gary, did it pick the music for you?
I'm playing the music now. Is that coming through?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But did it pick it for you? Or did you pick the music?
Oops. Okay, now what I did there is I have my slides a little bit longer than I wanted. I'm going to hit escape. That's how you get out of the slideshow. And I'm going to go up to sync to music. And we'll try that as a preview. And they should last 2 seconds. or 6 seconds. I'm sorry. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the correct. I'm sorry. That's anyway. You see on this, that went through them really quick. Um, you can see how that is created, how we create a slideshow. And the most important things when you're all done is you have over on the left side, just above your film strip, is export video or export as a PDF. And what I've done is export it as a video. And then it's like 1080p. It takes a few minutes now. Be patient when you do it. When it takes a little bit of time to save that as a video, and then when you can just go into your folders and find the video, and I'll show you that in a moment there. Okay, so now one important note that I didn't bring up is that say you don't have these arranged the way you want to, when you think after going through the preview, then what you can simply do is click in the middle of an image, see in the lower left, drag it over, and it moves it. Okay, so you can move things around, um, or just sort them all there. You got 20 slides, you can sort them all on your film strip inside of the Lightroom, excuse me, the slideshow module. Okay, and
Amazing
let's
photo.
see.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I said it's an amazing photo. I love it.
I didn't even realize it had that on there.
What did you process that one in?
This this was all Lightroom Classic. And then on this one, I believe because where obviously I wasn't down there swimming with him, but shooting through glass, it was a very high ISOs, and uh, and also the glass itself has a tendency to soften the image, so I bring it over and in Topaz, and I can add sharpen and I can clean it up. Which here's a good example there with this image. It was very soft. So in Topaz, I used very soft, very noisy, and it cleaned it up so it looked like this. So it made a nice presentation on that. So that's all, Lightroom Classic, and, making adjustments and cropping to what I would like on that.
There's supposed to be something new. I don't know if it was in Lightroom Classic or Photoshop because I haven't updated recently, and it's supposed to take out reflections.
Whoa, nice.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to check that. I saw that and I've forgotten. I'm glad you reminded me. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So let's go back then and go back to the presentation. And here we are. So we've gone through all of those. Very good. And then, of course, oops, I forgot to add this. So in case you forget, and you need a gentle reminder, the final slide, select photos, arrange your slide order, choose a template, or it says optional, customize your template. And that's where the music is when we customize. You set playback options. You preview or play the slideshow like we did. And then I didn't do that here, but if you go save slideshow, I saved it as a video. And any questions about any of the Adobe programs, the Adobe Help or Google or any other search engine has just tons of information on something that maybe you're not sure about. Okay, so that concludes this portion. And let's go over here.
Trisha had a question about where you got the music. I mean, was it you picked it on Google?
Oh yeah, I went to. It's been a while because if I know that's the same one I use for wildflowers too, or for mushrooms, and but yeah, you go to Google and you put in free music.
Yeah, okay, got
And
it.
so that's the two keywords, the best way, free music. And then it'll give you lists and lists and lists. And then what I found is do it when you have some spare time because you know you're gonna listen to clip and then, well, this
Yeah.
won't work, or maybe this will, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And just because there's so much, and there again is look for royalty-free music. And that
Mhm.
way, irregardless where this is played, you'll never have to worry about feedback from somebody who's annoyed you're using their music without authorization.
Got it.
So, okay, so what we've got here though is we got our slideshow. You can see I got a couple old ones, and this is after I waited and got it saved as a slideshow at 1080p. And we'll do on that. I'm going to slip the cursor over on the side. And desert wildflowers, enjoy.
Beautiful.
There you have it. Okay, we'll stop the show, go back, and that's it.
Yay. Thank you, Gary.
You. That was great.
So
So
Gary,
they
that
could-
was synchronized I noticed.
That's synchronized to the music, yeah.
Right.
And so that was 4 minutes and 4 seconds long. And
Uh-huh.
that's really cool with a little bit longer because it just really, you can pick the music, the length of music, or maybe if it's a longer show, you can uh, go ahead and use two tone, use two different pieces of music. But the important thing there is that matching, and the speed of that show was a little over 6 seconds with a 2 second uh,
Oh,
lap between the two, that overlay, the transition. And so that if you felt that was a comfortable, that's a good one to remember, the 6 seconds. It seems to
Mhm.
me it seems
it-
comfortable, but
mhm.
was it
Yeah.
you, or did you
Good.
feel you wanted to see them longer?
Some of them.
Somehow you would like,
That's kind of like ones I didn't
okay,
know. I was
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's true. Sometimes you want to really take a hard look. So then, if you feel that you want to have yours a little longer, then you can adjust that accordingly. Or if you don't use music, or you don't want to do it in tune with the music, you can adjust the duration to whatever you like. So
When you say sync to the music, what does that mean?
oh, what I'm uh, the music, I might be using the wrong term there, but if your music is 4 minutes and 4 seconds long, like the slideshow you just
Mhm.
saw, that slideshow, the program adjusts the length of your slideshow so that the slideshow ends when the music ends.
Oh, so you don't pick the 6 seconds, you sort of ahead of time
And
compute it,
that's right. Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
let it do it. I see. Cool.
And is
Yeah.
that
Yeah. It
only
really
in
works fine.
Lightroom,
Yeah.
Gary?
Yeah. Pardon me?
Is that only in Lightroom?
Only Lightroom Classic.
Lightroom
Yeah.
Classic,
To
that's
my
where you
knowledge,
can
the other
actually
ones,
sync it.
you can run a straight slideshow without music or anything, and it'll usually do around that same 6 second timing. And so that's why I chose it. It seemed to be good. Now I could, like, they maybe had a
Yeah.
little bit longer, or if your music, so when you're picking out music, you kind of want to think how long your slideshow, think it out. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I noticed the music was perfectly synchronized with the images. So as each image came up, the music began a new. Uh,
Yeah. Now that was that top little button there, I believe.
so that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That
so,
was.
and
Was
that's
that
something
this?
you can practice with. So yeah, that would be the one at the top. Apparently, I used to made it, and then of course it saves it as an MP4, and it's I forget, it was 400 megabytes or something. So the video clips do eat up a little hard drive space over what our photos would. But yeah, and it's really nice.
I will say that it was worth the price of admission to learn about the Target collection.
Yes.
I mean, I so many times of having to drag and drop from, and move. And,
Yep.
I
Oh,
mean, that
absolutely. Yeah.
saved me so much. 'Cause
After about the second time I'm going, just make it a target collection. Now, when I do that a lot, and here's a tip too, is that when I go back in there, I'll change my target collection into SRPS possible. So when you're going through those slides and you see one, you think, man, that's a wall hanger. Okay, you can just right click, hit target collection, and you've got it saved. So then maybe a month from now, when you're looking for some photos, you got half a dozen wall hangers. Well, you know what I mean, to choose from,
I
and that
I call it work on now.
work on now. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would do is my trick was I'd go between library and develop because it was faster to manipulate, I think, from develop because I didn't have to go through all of those, well, all of my my library.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like you and I both, we have tons of slides, and each year we might go to the desert. Some years we don't, but Bill might even notice Johnson Valley. You know the mountain range at the back with all the snow?
Cool.
That remind you when you were a young guy down there,
Wow.
and knowing that you spent time there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was really, we usually go down to places like that. We don't just take the freeway and go straight there. We look for alternate routes. I mean, state
uh-huh.
highways. We're talking about good state highways or good 2-lane highways that go from one place to the next. But it's amazing, that you can find a lot of nice, interesting things to photograph. And it actually went on that particular trip because the way the rainfall came, and Johnson Valley had the best flowers. Now, where that's
Oh.
at is if you're down by Joshua Tree. We were heading to Joshua Tree from where the poppies are,
Mhm.
Antelope Valley, and we did state highways across rather than using freeways. And all of a sudden, we got a big area where there was just all kinds of flowers. And as usual, when you see a few, get out and start looking around. And it's amazing how many more you'll find.
Mhm.
And it's just and so that's kind of what we do. We take our time and have reservations and all. And so um,
Right.
You have a
Cool.
patient partner.
Yeah, that helps.
yeah.
She likes to photograph too, though, doesn't
Oh,
she?
she does. Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
she's actually, when I see something, if because I'm not really good at names, but I'll remember. Okay. But so I'll get, hey, Warren, what's this one again? and she knows most all of them. But we do have flower books, and Warren's got some of her books dating way back to, 20 years ago, and she'll have in her pencil where she saw it, a little abbreviation for where we saw it and what the date was
Hmm.
in one of the flower books, so but it's a fun thing to do. It's like, and right now, of course, spring wildflowers are coming. And
Yeah.
so if you go some back roads and most important thing though is don't stop unless you have a safe place to do it. I've done so many times I would want to stop, but
There's no place.
you,
Yeah.
you no place to do it. Or if I know an area that's coming up, I might find a little place that I can safely pull over. But fortunately for us too, is we have a four-wheel drive on our Jeep Cherokee. And so if I get one side out from the mud, we're not in trouble. That happens a lot. Yeah. So anyway, any questions? Any
Well,
more
I'm kind of
comments?
glad that Bridge, you could do a slideshow in Bridge.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, so that's easy to do there by there again with Bridge now, and because I had to do some experimenting, is you drag the photo down into your collection box,
Hmm.
but and then it adds it to the collection, but it doesn't move it from your folder in the Bridge, your normal Bridge, your normal folder there. So you have it in both places, and then once you can begin working on that and sorting. I wrote down where uh, how you sort. You go up on top where there's one of the sort, and then once you have it sorted, you can go up to view, and then it'll say play slideshow. I think I mentioned that, how exactly to do that. And so yeah, that and you so there it doesn't have music, and it's all predetermined. You can't set up spaces or how it goes. Now, I didn't say anything about professional slideshow programs, but the I didn't recognize the names. It's been such a long time since I looked at them, but a lot of them will have different transitions. So, the way they move from one image to the next. Some of them, a regular slideshow program might do that rather than just in this area, we did a kind of a standard transition there from one to the next.
Which I
think
like. I
Keynote
like
probably does that. I think
Pardon me?
Keynote transfers from one image to another in different formats.
What was that again? Which program?
Keynote,
Keynote.
Oh,
Keynote.
Keynote will? Okay.
yeah. And so
Uh-huh.
it's probably the same in PowerPoint.
PowerPoint's the
guess
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
Oh, it's the same there now. See,
Yeah.
I had a little trouble with that, but then I was busy trying to put everything else together and I didn't spend the time on it to really figure out how to make a slideshow. But yeah, that's a way you can do all your pictures too, if you learn how to use Keynote, or the Microsoft one.
And they
I
have
use-
a way to add music too, but I
Oh,
had a hard time figuring it out. But
Yeah.
it wasn't that user friendly, but they may have changed it by now. That was a while ago.
Yeah. Now it's
Might
one
be
thing
easier now.
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention is when you like if I had music in my regular Microsoft folders and they're just designated as music. But when you search, you download and make sure you save it to one that's labeled music. And of course, at Microsoft, the way the Explorer just automatically will have music and videos like you saw in a couple of those. But I'm not sure how the Mac handles those. But you want to make sure your music is downloaded to that folder. And that way, when you go and click, they're all right there. And it came up really quick, so you can, choose the music that you want to go on your slideshow.
Well, if you know you're going to make a video, you can also do that in one of the video making programs.
Okay.
And so you then just drag each picture in one by one, and you can adjust the duration and also the segue, the lap dissolve or whatever from one to the other, and then you can have the soundtrack underneath. So you can actually manufacture the whole thing with.
This is the one I got. I haven't used it in so many years. I don't know if I could remember.
Oh, thank
Roadshow
you.
Gold.
That was the one I was thinking of, and I couldn't remember the name. I didn't even know if it's
I'll have
still
to take
made.
a look at it again.
Yeah.
I used one for school, but I don't remember the name, and it sounds like it might be the same thing that Joan's talking about, because it had you could see the tracks, you could move things so that they're closer together or further apart, your transitions, and then a music track below that.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's when I said I went into Google and looked up slideshow programs. There was so much, and I thought,
I know,
I just
it's
need to
like,
deal with what we have. Yeah.
simple.
So yeah, so there's quite a bit you can do there, and hopefully that helps people, or
Yeah.
even if it's just
Thank
a
you.
little
Yeah,
bit.
that's
There's
great.
Final Cut. Final Cut is the Apple version. I'm trying to remember. Premiere Pro, something like that is the Adobe one.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so you may have that in your and then iMovie also would you could do that with if you knew you were going to make a video.
What was the first one you mentioned?
Um,
Not iMovie,
Final
not
Cut,
Final Cut.
Oh,
and then there's iMovie. They're the Mac ones, and then there's Premiere Pro. That's what it's called as part of the Adobe suite set of suites.
Cool.
And so then instead of dragging clips in when you're making your timeline, instead of dragging clips in, you just drag individual photos in.
Mhm.
And then you can expand the duration that they're on, and then you bring in a track. And the music part is built in because you can select for royalty-free things just within the program.
Oh, that's
Because
cool.
remember, there's the Adobe comes with stock stuff,
Mhm.
and you can also download little caricatures and little cartoon characters and things.
oh. Yeah, because I noticed that there was an Adobe program now that they're pushing. They've been coming out with to do slideshows and presentations with.
Yeah, they have
And-
this newer thing called Adobe Rush, Premiere
Uh-huh.
Rush, which is easier to use than Adobe Premiere Pro. And I think I did one with that a while ago for some reason. Because I take video clips and then intersperse them with when I do a travelogue, if there's dancing or something like that, I'll have a little
Fun.
video clip and then also mostly stills, but I'll need to nonetheless edit the video clip. And then,
Program did you use for your beautiful birds?
well, I import the images with Photo Mechanic because with that I can then label the imported images, and I usually pre-pend to each image the date and time. So, and then I do the processing in photo what's it called? In Photo Lab, in DxO Photo Lab 8. And that's where, especially like the Photo Lab's ability to change color, because you can click on a color and one color and bring up the intensity or and so on. And then I normally, the third step is I would go to Topaz. And if I'm going to make something big, I'd use gigapixel, or if I'm just making denoising and stuff, then it would just be the Topaz photo. So those three are my things. And oh, it's just so amazing what the software will do now.
Usually. It's incredible. It's lots of fun.
Now,
I need to
Adobe,
step away for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adobe Express was the one I was thinking of. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't show up on my screen very good. But anyway, it's Adobe Express. And they say they does videos and photos, edit, post, graphic design, AI. And it says in-app purchase, 4.8 rating. Anyway, that's the one that Adobe has been talking about. So
Now
but
that's
I
on
have
a-
no.
That's on an iPad, right? I don't know if that's
Oh, no, it's Adobe Express. You can do it on iPad or PC.
Oh.
You know, so it's
Oh, okay. Well, thanks so much, Gary. That was really interesting.
Yeah.
yeah, thank you all for your own personal information, you know, so it just everything helps here.
I have to
Well,
get
Bill, are you all set for
Go.
your member moment?
Yep. I got
Good.
Yep, you're next.
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, 4 weeks. Okay.
yeah,
I
that's
hope
what I
the
was
rest
all.
of you are inspired to do one also, and let me know so I can get you on the calendar.
So Pat, is that is that an Aurora from your Iceland trip you just took?
Well, no, I haven't had time. I've been busy with grandkids and other things. So, but I've done a few of them, and yeah, had one night of beautiful auroras. So
Great.
to be determined with time.
Nice.
So thanks for asking.
Mhm.
Sorry, Ann, I stepped on you.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, it's
Anyway, thanks, Gary.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks,
Hopefully
Gary.
that's really helpful to you in some way or another.
Good job. Yes.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. So
Great. Well,
I've got to
Bill,
go, but thank you very much. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Trisha, we're leaving.
Yeah,
Night.
Trish.
Night,
Night.
everybody.
Night.
Okay, good
Good
night,
night, you
everybody.
guys. Thanks.
Uh,